Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of SuperFantaFi. This week's show, we're talking about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about The Beginning After the End, Season 1, Episode 11. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're immediately picking up where the last episode left off, and it is Arthur facing off against the director, or the head of the academy, because I didn't know what he was fully getting out of this. Like, the fact is that he went through the trouble of, like, why he's meeting with the director and not just, like, going straight to the school or whatever. But it's meant to be her chance to test him and to see, like, okay, are you really as skilled as they say, or is Vincent kind of, like, hyping you up beyond what you really are capable of? And obviously he throws a lot of what he's capable of at her. The only element he doesn't really utilize against her, because he uses fire, earth, and wind, but he can't land a blow on her. She sends him flying back. Obviously he went into this knowing she's the most powerful person. He could sense it, but we also find out the true meaning behind this whole thing. He wants to show what he is, like, okay, I am capable, and I would be someone nice that the academy would like to take in and foster. In fact, she's like, if in fact I would like to be your mentor just because of how powerful and skilled you are. I can tell there's so much there, raw potential, beyond what you're capable of even now. Because he's been able to pretty much handle himself pretty well without having to really go full blown. So, but he, this is the first time he's ever kind of hit someone kind of a lot without tapping into that dragon, the power that Sylvia gave him, and to come out on top. Either way, his proposition for her isn't for him to go to the academy first, because a couple episodes ago I was like, oh, like, I thought once they were talking about, like, Reynolds, like, old crew of, like, adventurers, I was like, oh, maybe he's going to plan to go out on adventures and stuff like that instead of going to the academy, because he seemed like he had no interest in going to the academy until last episode, which seeing the king kind of flaunt his power and they kind of had no choice but to capitulate. It made him go like, all right, I'm gonna need an ally, because I thought the point was I'm gonna go to the academy, rise through the ranks, and then I'll have the power and influence. But it's more so about having the director on the side. It's like, I will go to this academy not now, but in 3 years from now, when I'm the same age as my fellow classmates. That way, I can go out and broaden my horizons. I want to see more of this country. I want to see more of everything as I try to grow stronger on my own, then come to the academy afterwards. Which even she's like, oh, you really think like I'm going to make that deal? And he's like, yeah, I think you are, because we both see the benefits of it. So she's willing to do this because I guess he's thinking if anything ever comes up again and if his family's ever in a compromised position, he would never have to worry about it, because like her backing, her position and what she says carries so much weight that no one else has to really, no one would be able to fully like put his family in a compromised position again. But yeah, so it's interesting because, like I said, I kind of went back and forth. I was like, oh, is he going to go to the academy? Oh, I guess he's just going to go be an adventurer. Oh, he's going to the academy. It's like, no, he's doing both. He's going to go out as an adventurer for 3 years, come back, and then attend the academy. So that's definitely going to be interesting. And obviously, he has to explain it to his family. His dad's a little more okay with it than his mom, because it's like, hey, you literally just got back after us being separated for like 3 years. I'm not about to go through that again. But he has to kind of ease his mom's nerves about it. It's like, I'm not leaving immediately because I do want to stay around for a while. That was the whole point of coming back home. And he's like, if you want me to, I can check back in. I won't be going the entire time. I'll come back every few months. In fact, if you want me to, I can come back even more frequently. But this is something I want to do and I think I need to do. And they're kind of, the whole, why are you doing this? And he's just like, yeah, I just want to see more of the country. And she's like, is that really all there is? So it's like, well, there's deeper layers to it. But that is kind of at the forefront of it all, to keep it simple, I guess, And so he gets his family's okay, but it's also like, right, they don't want him going off on his own, so they want him to have a guardian. So they go to Reynald and Alice's former party and ask, like, yo, could you look after him? Adam's like, nah, because I'm not a babysitter, but also, man, that kid might decide to, like, kill me in my sleep or something. And others like, yeah, that's actually not in the realm of possibility. You kind of have a terrible personality. You have a very sharp tongue, so you'll probably say something that will piss him off. And the others are like, yeah, I'm not. There's at least two amongst this squad. There's the one who is like always hugging on Arthur, she probably would have co-signed it, but they never really broached her about it. The other dude, was it Durgan or whatever? He's kind of like, oh, I would love to go, but maybe next time. The one that volunteers is Jasmine, because she immediately took a specific liking to Arthur. I'm sure there's a little bit of like, she looks and sees maybe a little bit of a kindred spirit in Arthur. So like obviously they hit it off like before obviously he like got separated from them for all those years, but they really hit it off. So she immediately volunteers for the job too. So then you have Arthur finding his sword, the one we see in the intro. Very nice stylized sword. I wasn't expecting the circumstances around it to be what it is. He's just going through like an armory where all these swords are, but none of them really click with him. And he's like, well, considering like, you know, one of the main magics is like people being augmenters, you don't really need weapons. So I think for him, it's like the weapons in this world aren't that as crafty great as they could be, just because like, well, when you have augmenters who can bend things to kind of what they need them to be, like it's just, you know, using their power to, you know, channel through stuff. It's like, do we really need like the best of the best weapon? So he can't find anything until Sylvie points out like something that initially he's like, oh, is that a rod? But it's, I don't know what you call that type of sword. I was like, I guess like a cane sword seems to be like the closest comparison, because it's a sword without a it's without a guard. I was about to say hilt. It has a hilt, but it has no guard to it. But he can't initially draw the blade. He actually has to channel mana into it, and then he's able to, you know, the element specifically, and he's able to draw the blade. It's a very beautiful blade. It actually has an inscription on it. Was it WK4? And he's like, who is this? They talk about it later on that some old man was like, no one can really use his sword, and just threw it at the guy that works at the auction house, and so it's just been there the entire time. No one else can recognize the value in it. And the only reason why Arthur took notice of it is because he had Sylvie kind of wink and nod towards him. So I don't know if it's like the beast will inside of him that he got from Sylvia that really reacted to it. Because it's like the moment he grabbed it, it's like he could feel kind of a connection with this weapon. And he was talking about it being heavy, and I was like, oh, maybe it'll get a little lighter with enough time. But then like he gets shocked by the blade, and then he picks it up again, and the handle's shorter, and so the blade's not as heavy. It literally like registered him as a user and modified itself to fit him. So I was like, oh, so I guess this is going to be like his sword for the entire series. I'm sure there's going to be a point in time where the sword gets broken and probably has to get like special repairs or something to it, maybe. But like a sword that can literally adjust itself to its user. So probably as he gets older, it will probably adjust like length and size and weight wise, but it's like it's more adaptive to the state, you know, the smaller body that he has now. So I thought that was interesting. And I think it's fascinating, too, that he decided to hide this from everyone else. Well, because if people found out he could draw the sword, it's going to draw way more attention. Plus, like, you're able to get away with it just being like, oh, I'm getting a regular sword plus this rod. I thought it would be interesting and be a nice practice sword. But it's like, no, like, because if they found out how special that sword really was, if they didn't know, they just treated it as like, oh, it's a regular rod, because it's like, yeah, no one can really click with it like Arthur did. So it'd be very expensive to get, and maybe Vincent and the others would be like hesitant to give it away. Like it just would not, it'd be a heavy hassle to deal with. And I love Arthur pulling out like the puppy dog eyes, being like, Uncle Vincent, and he's like, nah, you go ahead and keep it. And then Randolph was like looking at him, he's like, come on, dude, he called me uncle, what was I supposed to do? Like Arthur played him like a fiddle. I love it. But yeah, he's training regularly with his dad with like the practice swords, but when he's in his room, he's training with the sword, not letting anyone know. It's like, of course, he's going to keep some secrets, because he probably also had to answer, well, how did you access it? And it's like, well, those are questions he isn't really wanting to answer either. Like I said, whole hassle of a situation. He also brought up something I thought was interesting too. Obviously, Eleanor and Lilia are continuing their training, and she's obviously able to kind of meditate even without him kind of pushing mana towards her. But he also thinks his sister will be picking things up pretty quickly. But he also thinks like, I hope she doesn't come to it too quickly because it does draw unnecessary attention. Like he was in a rush because of his very various circumstances and reasonings, but now it's like I don't want my sister to go through that. It would just put too much of a view on her, draw too much attention. So he also probably wants her to just enjoy her childhood, especially because he's just trying to enjoy being around his friends and comrades and family during all this. Because who knows how long it's been, but obviously like he was 8 before, and obviously we kind of end the episode, well, nearly end the episode with him turning 9. Gets all those different gifts from people. There's like these gauntlets or whatever that have like healing stones in them that are from his mom. A ring so that anytime he ever reaches a critical level with his mana, his mom has the corresponding ring and be able to tell what's up. And he even has like a scroll where he can like use mana to like leave a message and his mom can receive it. They said once, so I don't know if it is like an emergency one and done thing, or it's like, or she could like either like she can inscribe a message once or something like that. I don't remember the wording of it. So giving him all the tools he needs to also ease his mom's mind about everything. But when it is all said and done, it is time for him to ship out. So it's interesting to see that he's already wearing the clothes, the ones that he has in the outro. Well, the intro and the outro, but like the one where he's wearing like the kind of turquoise jacket and he's got that white mask. So I wasn't sure what role the white mask is going to play in. I wonder why he has that. I mean, maybe it serves some purpose. We just don't know it because it might be a specialized mask. Because I thought like maybe he was going to go do some like basically vigilante stuff, and to cover his identity, he was going to need a mask. Now, unless there's something of that sort that might happen, you know, especially with an out of entry, he could do stuff while covering his face while, you know, helping out and training, but then like without drawing too much attention to himself as Arthur. Not unless that ends up being the case. It'll probably be a situation of when he's wearing the mask. That's probably when he'll most likely use the sword, the new sword he got this episode. Any other time when he's just Arthur, he'll probably just use that regular sword that he got. Once again, just a send off from everyone, both at the birthday party, but also from his mom, his dad, and his sister as he ships out. And it's just them trying to be like, no, it's okay. We know you'll be back, and you know, just don't try to handle everything on your own. Rely on Jasmine because she's going to be there to back you up. So it is sad, but I mean, at least he did get to spend that time hanging out with his family, making up a little bit of lost time, but they immediately have to ship out again. But everything is for the larger purpose of I need to get stronger, not even just stronger than even I was in my previous life, if it means being able to look after my family and deal with whatever might come our way, you know? I'm curious to see what the pacing of the next episode is going to be like. Will it just be like we will be following Arthur and Jasmine's adventures as they're doing their thing? Like, once again, he's not going to stay away the entire like 3 years. He will come back like every so often. So I wonder, will we kind of just like kind of time lapse that a little bit where it's just like, okay, here's some adventures they're on. Then he's back home. Adventures he's on. Will that kind of get like really truncated and because once again, I don't know what the pacing of this is versus like the novel or the webtoon adaptation, like how much stuff is being heavily condensed and how much stuff is playing out exactly like it does for the most part, like lengthwise in the like I said, other versions of the story. We'll ultimately have to just wait to see. The next episode will give us a better idea, potentially like pacing and just like how this might shape up and play out. I mean, like I said, like because his time with the elves was like like that 3-year time skip, like you that just kind of happened like at the very end of one episode, and then you just kind of was one more episode in Village, and then he left. So we'll see how it paces out. Obviously, there's like almost half the season left because I believe it's 26 episodes in total. So obviously, we're nearing the halfway point of the season. So. But either way, that's really all I want to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.